Hello everyone, welcome to GES News Today channel, where we bring you the best and the latest information you can get. We are going to disclose to you the timelines for salary negotiations against 2025 salary increase. Now, before we proceed, kindly take your time, look just under the title and subscribe, because we will be following up on the negotiations. We will start to the end. In fact, we will be mobilizing members, colleagues, to ensure that our labor union leaders have the maximum support to push for a better deal, because it is only through a maximum public support that we can all get a better deal. So we are calling on you, when the time is up, for you to make sure that you get involved actively. Share our things, not just our things concerning the salary negotiations. Any other thing you see somewhere concerning salary negotiations, make sure you comment, like, and share. Not just our own. We are all in for a better deal. So let's go right in. There are certain factors that influence the timelines, and so we will be taking them one by one before we finally disclose to you the timelines as we expect it or as it is. Good. Now, we all know that long time ago, before the introduction of the single spine, salaries were negotiated in the year that is supposed to be paid. And by the time they are finished negotiation, it has ended in either June, July, and by the implementation dates, August, and they have to be paid arrears from January. That results in a lot of complications, people not even getting some of those arrears, with a lot of backlash. Now, Parliament, through whatever means or whatever reasons, especially under the last IMF program, they were forced to pass regulations and laws that ensure that budgets are read before the next year starts or the following year starts. And that means that negotiations and major figures that are supposed to be inputted into the budgets are concluded upon. However, in an election year, the government of the day will not be presenting a full year budget for the following year, but rather they will present a transition budget. So for instance, come November, the budget that will be presented will only take care of January to March. And the next government, either the sitting government retains or another government comes, they will know how to present a full year budget for the year in March next year. So that is all about the new development. Also, back to the timeline for the negotiations. We must all know that this year is an election year. And so government has an interest, in fact, a vested interest in this year's negotiations. And so we expect the negotiations to end before the elections are conducted. At least by the end of November, the negotiation should end. Why do we say so? We are saying so because if the negotiation haven't concluded before then, the government stands a backlash from the media, social media, the powerful social media of government workers, especially with the propaganda at the background that government is playing games in order to mafia government workers when they finally wins the election. Because when after winning the election, they have nothing to lose again. And so they would like to mafia members. So that is the negative propaganda they would like to avoid. In fact, it could be a genuine propaganda. Now let's also look at the positive aspects. If the negotiations are concluded and the rates that have been achieved is positive enough, it is something that the government of the day can use as a bargaining chip to campaign, to tout their ability to increase the salaries of workers. Remember that in Ghana, apart from the subsets of men and women students, government workers are the next largest body of voters in the country, and so a lot must be done to appease them. In addition, the law provides that the budget for the ensuing year must be read before the year, like to be read one clear month before the year ends. But this one is not a major force that will force government to do anything, because we have seen in recent past, last 2 years, negotiations have concluded weeks or even a month after the budget was read. So we will not consider this as a major force that actually makes the conclusion to makes the negotiations to conclude before the election. We must also note that with the presence of IMF, which was instrumental in the passing of these particular laws, that budget must be read before the year ends to include salary increases. With their presence, we expect that they can force the hands of government as head teachers with the cane on top of at the back of the government of the day. They will also want to finish the budget before the December elections. Now let's come to the start of the negotiations. Let's also disclose that mid-year budget is scheduled to be read in July this year. Good. 2024 mid-year budget. Therefore, the negotiations cannot start before that time, because there is something else to be dealt with. Now let's look at the other parts. From the previous years, we have noticed from the articles archives of Google and all press releases, we have noticed that labor unions, they only start complaining after November whenever negotiations are delaying. So, taking into consideration that they only complain from October onwards whenever the negotiations are delaying, we expect that the negotiation for next year's salary increase should take effect in September of this year. Because when it starts September of this year, one, it will provide enough time to be concluded before the budget is read in November and before the elections are conducted in December. So this is our expectation, that salary negotiation will start September and conclude before December elections. Kindly subscribe and help all of us to share things concerning salary negotiation, not just our own but all others, to force the hands of the government for a better deal. Bye-bye.